First story, Whispers in the Shadows by Sarah Thompson. It was a cold and dreary night in the heart of New York City. I had just finished a late night shift at the office. The exhaustion clung to me like a heavy cloak. The deserted streets seemed endless as I trudged my way home, my footsteps echoing through the narrow alleys. As I turned into an unfamiliar alley to take a shortcut, I felt a sudden chill in the air. My senses heightened, and a shiver crawled up my spine. The dimly lit alley was lined with trash bins and graffiti-covered walls, casting eerie shadows that danced with the flickering lampposts. In the distance, I noticed a figure, cloaked in darkness, leaning against the wall. My pace quickened involuntarily as a sense of foreboding washed over me. The figure stirred, revealing a silhouette that seemed out of place. Tall and slender, it exuded an unsettling energy that made my skin crawl. Attempting to dismiss my unease as paranoia, I continued walking. However, with every step, the feeling of being watched intensified. The echoing of footsteps behind me mirrored my own, and I couldn't shake the sensation that I was being trailed by an unseen presence. Desperation clutched at my chest as I approached my apartment building. I fumbled with my keys, glancing over my shoulder to find the mysterious figure still in pursuit. Panic set in as I rushed inside, the heavy door slamming shut behind me. Relieved to be in the safety of my home, I tried to convince myself that it was just a figment of my imagination. Yet the memory of those haunting footsteps lingered, etched into the recesses of my mind. Days turned into weeks, but the feeling of unease persisted. I avoided the alley, altered my routes, and became hyper-aware of my surroundings. One night, as I lie in bed, sleep eluding me, I heard a soft whisper outside my window. It was unintelligible, carried by the wind, but its presence was undeniable. The following morning, I discovered a cryptic message scrawled on my doorstep in chalk. The words, barely legible, sent a chill down my spine. I see you. Panic consumed me as the realization struck. I was being targeted by someone who thrived in the shadows, a faceless menace that haunted the periphery of my life. As the days wore on, the whispers continued, growing more insistent. I lived in a constant state of fear, the boundary between reality and paranoia blurring. The police were skeptical, dismissing my claims as the product of a stressed mind. Haunted by the relentless pursuit, I became a prisoner in my own home. Every shadow seemed to conceal the lurking presence of my tormentor. Sleep became a distant memory as the whispers persisted, echoing through the darkened corridors of my mind. In the heart of the city that never sleeps, I found myself trapped in a waking nightmare, the relentless pursuit of an unseen menace, leaving me forever haunted by the chilling whispers in the shadows. Second story, Echoes of Midnight by Daniel Harris. The city of Chicago lay silent under the moonlit sky as I found myself strolling through the desolate streets after a long night out with friends. The air was crisp, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the towering oaks that lined the sidewalk. A feeling of contentment washed over me as I relished the solitude, the rhythmic sound of my footsteps creating a comforting cadence. As I turned a corner onto a dimly lit street, a chill raced down my spine, alerting me to the subtle shift in the atmosphere. A figure emerged from the shadows, their silhouette dancing with the wavering glow of a flickering street lamp. Intrigue mingled with caution as I squinted to discern the features of the approaching stranger. The stranger was a woman clad in a tattered, long coat that billowed around her like the wings of a raven. Her face remained hidden beneath the cover of a wide-brimmed hat, casting a veil of mystery over her identity. A tinge of unease settled in the pit of my stomach as I quickened my pace, attempting to put distance between myself and this enigmatic figure. The woman matched my strides with an unsettling precision, her footsteps echoing mine in an eerie synchronicity. As I turned another corner, the streets grew darker, the intermittent pools of light casting elongated shadows that seemed to dance with malevolent intent. My breath quickened, and the rhythmic tap of my shoes on the pavement became a heartbeat in sync with my rising anxiety. Attempting to shake off the growing sense of foreboding, I veered onto a quieter street, hoping to lose the mysterious woman in the labyrinthine alleys. However, she persisted, her presence a haunting echo that reverberated through the silent night. Panic set in as I realized the futility of my attempts to escape the relentless pursuit. With each passing moment, the streets seemed to close in around me, the oppressive darkness bearing witness to a confrontation that loomed on the horizon. The woman's footsteps merged with the symphony of the night, a dissonant melody that heightened the tension in the air. My surroundings, once familiar, now felt like a maze of uncertainty, a labyrinth where every turn only led to deeper shadows. A distant sound broke through the silence, a low, haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the woman's presence. It sent shivers down my spine, an otherworldly tune that echoed through the stillness of the night. The air crackled with an unnatural energy as I became ensnared in the hypnotic cadence of the haunting melody. My steps faltered, and I found myself drawn toward the mysterious woman, captivated by the inexplicable force that bound us together. The melody intensified, its ethereal notes weaving a spell that blurred the lines between reality and nightmare. In that moment, the world around me ceased to exist. There was only the haunting melody and the enigmatic figure that had become the orchestrator of my fate. As I stood ensnared by the spectral melody, the woman finally turned to face me. Her eyes, pools of darkness, bore into my soul, and a sinister smile played upon her lips. In that chilling gaze, I glimpsed the echoes of 1,000 nights, each one tainted by the presence of this malevolent force. The melody reached its crescendo, and with it, the world shattered around me. I found myself standing alone in the empty streets of Chicago. The mysterious woman vanished into the night. The echoes of midnight lingered, a haunting reminder that some encounters are destined to etch themselves into the tapestry of our deepest fears, leaving us forever haunted by the enigma of the shadows. Third story, Whispers in the Silence by Emily Carter. The city of Detroit, with its abandoned factories and forgotten alleys, set the stage for a late-night exploration that would etch itself into the recesses of my memory. Restless and curious, I embarked on a journey into the heart of decay, drawn to the allure of forgotten stories that echoed through the crumbling bricks and rusting metal. My footsteps echoed through the desolate industrial landscape, each sound magnified by the silence that enveloped the abandoned buildings. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay, and an otherworldly hush settled over the ruins, broken only by the occasional creak of rusted metal or the distant hum of a city that had long forgotten this forsaken corner. As I delved deeper into the maze of forgotten structures, a sense of unease crept over me. Graffiti-covered walls told tales of forgotten rebellion, the vibrant colors now faded into a melancholic dance of decay. Shadows clung to the corners, and the air seemed to pulse with an eerie energy that sent shivers down my spine. It was in the heart of an abandoned factory that I first encountered them. Figures draped in tattered garments, their faces obscured by the remnants of time. An air of secrecy surrounded the group as they moved with an unsettling fluidity, their whispers barely audible over the creaking echoes of the decaying structure. Curiosity mingled with trepidation as I observed their clandestine gathering. In the dim light, I glimpsed the flicker of candles, casting dancing shadows on the factory walls. The air resonated with a haunting chant, an ancient melody that seemed to transcend time itself. The group's movements were deliberate, their rituals steeped in an arcane mystique that defied comprehension. I hesitated, torn between the instinct to retreat and the inexplicable pull that urged me to unravel the mysteries concealed within the shadows. As I ventured further, the whispers grew more distinct, weaving tales of forgotten rituals and arcane rites. Symbols adorned the walls, their meaning lost to the annals of time, and a palpable energy hung in the air, pregnant with the weight of untold secrets. A figure, draped in a ceremonial robe, turned to face me with eyes that gleamed with an ancient wisdom. The whispers ceased, and an oppressive silence settled over the abandoned factory. In that moment, I felt like an intruder, an unwitting observer stumbling upon a secret world that lay hidden from the eyes of the city. The figure spoke, their words a cryptic invitation to join their enigmatic congregation. The air crackled with anticipation as I grappled with the decision to either retreat into the safety of the night or surrender to the alluring mystery that beckoned me closer. As I took a hesitant step forward, the shadows seemed to dance with approval. The group enveloped me, their hands extending in a silent welcome. The chants resumed, and I found myself drawn into a ritual that transcended the boundaries of reason. The factory walls pulsed with an ancient energy, and in that surreal moment, I became a participant in a dance with the forgotten echoes of the past. As the night unfolded, the boundaries between reality and mysticism blurred, leaving me forever changed by the encounter with the strange and dangerous figures in the heart of Detroit's decaying industrial landscape. The whispers and the silence lingered, an indelible mark etched into the tapestry of my nocturnal exploration. Fourth story, Shadows of the Past, by Mark Reynolds. The city lights of San Francisco shimmered in the distance as I walked along the iconic Golden Gate Park, lost in thought after an enjoyable date that had culminated in a cozy dinner at a nearby bistro. The night air was crisp, and a gentle breeze carried the faint scent of blooming flowers as I strolled down the winding paths, the city's ambient glow casting a soft illumination on the surroundings. As I meandered through the park, the rhythmic footsteps of my date Emma echoed beside me. Laughter lingered in the air, a sweet melody that complemented the serene atmosphere of the park. Our conversation had been easy and enjoyable, creating a sense of connection that left me with a warm glow of contentment. However, as we approached a secluded area surrounded by towering trees, an unsettling shift in the atmosphere caught my attention. The laughter faded, replaced by an eerie stillness that hung in the air like a heavy mist. The ambient glow of the city seemed to dim, casting elongated shadows that stretched across the path. Emma and I exchanged uneasy glances as a figure materialized from the shadows, blocking our path. The stranger's features were obscured by the darkness, but an unsettling energy emanated from their presence. My hand instinctively tightened around Emma's, a silent reassurance that echoed the tension that gripped us both. The stranger spoke in hushed tones, their words cryptic and laden with an ominous weight. They spoke of forgotten sins and shadows that clung to the threads of time, weaving a tapestry of remorse and regret. Unease settled in the pit of my stomach as the stranger's words hinted at a shared history, a connection to a past I couldn't recall. Emma and I exchanged perplexed glances. Our attempts to extract clarity met with veiled responses. The stranger's presence seemed to warp reality, casting a surreal haze over the night. A distant howl echoed through the park, sending shivers down our spines as the stranger's gaze bore into us with an unsettling intensity. As the conversation unfolded, it became apparent that this enigmatic figure harbored a vendetta rooted in the shadows of the past. The air grew charged with a palpable tension, and I felt the weight of an unresolved history pressing down on my shoulders. Questions lingered on the tip of my tongue, but the stranger remained elusive, their motives concealed behind a veil of mystery. In a moment of revelation, the stranger's gaze shifted to Emma, a recognition flashing in their eyes that sent a chill down my spine. The past, it seemed, had woven an intricate web of connections that bound us to a destiny entangled with forgotten sins. The stranger's words echoed with a haunting resonance, leaving us suspended in a nightmarish limbo between past and present. As the encounter reached its climax, the stranger vanished into the shadows, leaving Emma and me standing in the dimly lit park, our minds reeling with unanswered questions. The city lights regained their vibrancy, but the atmosphere remained tinged with an unsettling aura that lingered long after the stranger's departure. In the aftermath of that fateful night, Emma and I grappled with the shadows of the past that had thrust themselves into our present. The date that had begun with laughter and connection now bore the weight of an enigma that had altered the course of our lives. The city of San Francisco, once a backdrop for romance, now concealed secrets that cast long shadows on the tapestry of our shared history. Fifth story, Vale of the Whispering Pines, by Jessica Turner. The dense foliage of the Black Forest in Bavaria cast an impenetrable darkness over the moonlit night. The air was thick with the rich scent of pine, and an otherworldly silence hung over the towering trees. I found myself navigating the narrow paths, a lone adventurer exploring the mystical depths of the ancient forest. As I ventured deeper, a mysterious energy enveloped me, heightening my senses to the rustling leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. The moon cast a silvery glow, creating an ethereal tapestry of light and shadow that danced across the forest floor. The crunch of pine needles beneath my boots echoed like a distant heartbeat, setting the rhythm for the nocturnal symphony. A subtle shift in the atmosphere caught my attention as I approached a clearing bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The silence that had embraced me like a familiar friend morphed into an eerie hush, and the air became charged with an inexplicable energy. A palpable tension hung in the atmosphere, transforming the tranquil forest into an arena of anticipation. My heart quickened as I sensed movement among the ancient pines. Shadows flitted between the trees, their movements elusive and enigmatic. As I strained my eyes to discern the source of the disturbance, a group of figures emerged from the darkness, their faces obscured by hooded cloaks, and their presence shrouded in an air of mystery. The figures moved with a synchronized grace, their footsteps barely audible as they approached the moonlit clearing. The whispering pines seemed to echo with their muted conversations, creating an otherworldly symphony that resonated with the ancient spirits of the forest. A shiver ran down my spine as I became an inadvertent witness to a clandestine gathering in the heart of the Black Forest. The figures, draped in cloaks adorned with symbols that seemed to pulsate with an unnatural glow, encircled a central figure, standing beneath the towering branches of an ancient oak. A primal energy emanated from the gathering, an ancient rite that transcended the boundaries of time. My breath caught in my throat as I realized I stood on the precipice of an encounter with forces beyond human comprehension. In hushed tones, the figures chanted an ancient incantation, their voices blending with the haunting melody of the wind rustling through the pine needles. Symbols carved into the oak tree seemed to shimmer in response to their ritual, the forest itself becoming a sacred witness to their mystic communion. As the ritual reached its zenith, a subtle shift in the atmosphere hinted at the presence of something otherworldly. The moon cast long shadows that seemed to dance with the figures, creating an illusion of a spectral congregation beneath the whispering pines. The air became charged with an ethereal energy, and I found myself caught in the crossfire of a mystical communion that defied rational explanation. In that surreal moment, the figures turned towards me, their hooded faces betraying no emotion. The clearing fell into a profound silence as their eyes met mine, an unspoken acknowledgement of an outsider intruding upon their sacred rite. Panic seized me, and I stumbled backward, my footsteps echoing through the silent forest. As I retraced my path through the Black Forest, the ancient pines seemed to whisper their secrets, carrying the echoes of the mystical encounter into the night. The moon cast a final, silvery glow over the dense foliage, and I emerged from the enchanted depths with a newfound reverence for the veiled mysteries that lurked beneath the whispering pines. The encounter lingered in the recesses of my memory, a haunting testament to the mystical forces that weave their existence in the heart of the ancient Bavarian forest. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on the video featured on your screen. It's a personal favorite. If you enjoyed these horror stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button to support more thrilling content. Drop a comment and let me know which tale gave you the chills. Until next time, stay spooked.